Hello and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the Grab for Business webinar. First and foremost, thank you to all of you that have registered and have actually made it to join us today. We have an exciting lineup of speakers that will be taking us through what Grab for Business does with food, with groceries, with gifts, and beyond. Let me very quickly introduce myself. My name is Melissa, and I will be your host for today. As for our panel of speakers, joining us today is Managing Director of Grab Philippines, Grace Veracruz, Grab for Business's Regional Director of Sales, Amit Patel, Regional Manager, Angelo Jano, and last but not least, Regional Manager, Namrata Goyal. Before I hand it over to our speakers, I would just like to go through the agenda for this webinar today. We will begin with a welcome note by Grace, followed by an icebreaker where we have actually prepared some poll questions to get to know our audience a little better today. We'll then move on to an introduction to Grab for Business by Angelo, followed by an introduction to Grab Gifts by Namrata. And of course, we'll be answering any questions that you may have at the end of the session, and we will end today's webinar with closing remarks by our speaker, Amit Patel. On that note, I would just like to remind everyone to put in your questions in the Q&A section, as you see the button below on your screen throughout the webinar, should you have any, and our speakers will address them at the end of the session today. So without further ado, I would like to call on Grace to say a few words and to kick off the webinar today. So take it away, Grace.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. And thank you for joining us in this forum as part of our 10th anniversary. You know, Grab started out as a ride-hailing company, and since then, we have grown into a super app, providing our consumers greater access to services that matter most to them, be it mobility, deliveries, or even financial solutions. Now, almost anything and everything you need every day can be within reach through Grab. And behind this vast ecosystem of hyper-convenience is a wide network of communities of drivers and delivery partners, merchants, and brands working together to help make life better for everyone. And today, we invite you on this journey with Grab as we hope to make life better for you and your teams through Grab for Business. Grab for Business was born out of our deep desire to better support corporate businesses such as yourselves. I remember back in the day when businesses would struggle so much in terms of processing expense items. Others would resort to having different team members carry their own credit cards. And in this day and age, this is not sustainable and it carries with it certain risks. Grab for Business aims to make life easier and better for our corporate clients. You can now monitor the Grab expenses of your team members real time and settle these directly in one go. Grab's goal is to make life better. And with Grab for Business, we are not only making life easier and better for your teams, you are also part of our mission to create a better life for many Filipinos. Thank you. Enjoy today, and I turn you over to the rest of our speakers. Bye-bye.
Thank you for that, Grace. We love your energy and thank you for that wonderful welcome. Now, we want to get to know our audience a little better today, so we're going to move on to our poll session where we have prepared a few questions for you guys. First question that we have for today, if we can move to the first question. So firstly, have you heard of Grab for Business? So we would just like everyone to actually answer. 1 second. We'll give you guys a couple of minutes to answer yes or no. So far, we see most of you guys have heard of Grab for Business, so that's really good news. Give you guys a few more minutes. Okay. So as you can see, about 67% of you here today have heard for Grab for Business. So that's really good to know. And for those of you that haven't, you're at the right place because you'll find out so much more and everything you need to know about Grab for Business today. We have another question for you. Second question. What is the most preferred employee benefit in your organization? Whether it be food allowance, allowance for vitamins, grocery allowance, or even transportation allowance. We would like to know a little bit more about what your preferred employee benefit is. Most of you are choosing food and transportation. Interesting. Give you a few more minutes. All right, so as you can see, most of you have picked food allowance as well as transportation allowance as the preferred employee benefit in your organization. All right, we have a couple more questions. The third question that we have for you guys, what is your preferred process of providing benefits to your employees, whether it be reimbursements, cash advance, or to include it in the payroll? Give you a few more minutes to answer. Interesting. Sharing the results with you guys. So most of you have chosen payroll as well as reimbursement as your preferred method of providing benefits to your employees. Moving on to the next question, we have, what do you usually give to your employees during the holidays? Whether it be gift baskets during Christmas or Mooncake Festival, whether it be vouchers or even monetary compensation. All right, so most of you chose monetary compensation. That is my preferred employee holiday gift too, if you ask me. All right, now we have a final question for all of you. How do you provide meals to your employees or guests during company events or engagements? We have catering, vouchers or virtual meals, whether it be Grab or even restaurant delivery. All right. Sharing the results with all of you. So most of you have actually chosen catering as your preferred method of providing meals to your employees. Okay, thank you so much to all of you for participating in that poll. And it definitely gave us a little bit more insight as to what our audience is looking for today. So without further ado, I would like to pass it on to Angelo to actually introduce us to GrabForBusiness and all the great benefits that come with it. So take it away, Angelo.
Thanks, Nels.
No worries.
It's very interesting, really, for me to see the feedback of the audience, especially when we talk about food gifting as well as smart or groceries, right? And for this afternoon, I'll be focusing my discussion, our conversation with regards to corporate food, as well as smart deliveries for your office and your employee needs. So if you can move to the next slide, Nels. So just to give you a background, I think most of you is already aware, Grab is Southeast Asia's super app, but we're not just catering to the B2C market, but we're also catering to the corporate requirements because we have corporate solutions for your needs. So if you look at Grab as a whole, we have transportation. Everyone is well aware that we ensure safety for corporate rides, even for your personal transactions. And apart from that, we also have delivery via Grab Express. And like what I mentioned earlier, the focus this afternoon will be talking about corporate food because you now have Grab Food, and then corporate Mart because you already have Grab Mart on your app now. Yep. Next slide, please. Yep, food allowance. So did you know it's actually the most preferred employee benefit across Southeast Asia? This is based on the survey. It's an in-app survey that we did in March last year to about 12,000 respondents across 6 Southeast Asia markets. So a lot of the employees, a lot of the respondents have really preferred food allowance as an employee benefit. And there are different ways to solve cravings for your employees or clients. So if you look at GrabFood, for example, you can definitely use it for work site meals. So if you want to engage with your employees by providing meals at their workplace. And as you know, the way to go now because of the pandemic situation is hybrid. So for this work site meals, it could either be in the office or even when your employees are working from home. And you also have overtime meals wherein you can treat your hardworking employees by giving them a meal for their late night shifts. Or even for those that are spending long hours in the office, start the shift very, very early. We have seen clients that have been ordering coffee for their employees that come on time or even before the shift. And you can also use corporate food for team offsites. So if you want to let your staff focus more on what's important by pre-ordering food in bulk easily. So I saw earlier when you have client events or town halls or even internal meetings, you always look at catering to address the need of food for your employees. Well, in fact, now with Grab Food, catering is already available, wherein you can pre-book and order meals in advance so that the restaurant will deliver it to you based on your preferred date and time. And then you also have corporate client events. If you want to reward your clients with a full service buffet or morning coffee for a fulfilling experience. So similar to catering, it's already available. And then of course, client meetings. Focus on discussing important things. We will sort out the food and the experience for you through GrabFood. Next slide. Okay, so like what I mentioned, GrabFood is good for individual and large orders. It's a tasty and fun corporate dining experience delivered to your door. It's fitted for any business occasion because you can arrange bulk orders for large groups or even virtual team meals and working lunches. There are curated restaurants available. You can choose from an array, a wide selection of tasty foods from your local favorites or even the restaurant favorites that are very common now on GrabFood. And of course, definitely not the least, safer meals because you enjoy your delicious food as we practice high standards of health and safety protocols through GrabFood. Okay, and then the next slide, we'll talk about the different discounts. So personally, even myself, I enjoy all the discounts that are being offered now in Grab. So if you want to enjoy year-round discounts and promos from your favorite Grab food brands, you can visit our website, which is food.grab.com. And then you can see an array of different discounts offered by the different merchants, for example. If you've seen Starbucks recently, if you've seen McDonald's, Jollibee, or even the other merchants, even the local ones, they have been offering discounts for corporate clients. Okay, move to the next slide now. So GrabMart again is for your corporate grocery. The office pantry reimagined to offer people with goods and essentials. We know a lot of the companies that are working on site now are trying to fill their pantry with supplies. And how do you do it? Apart from ordering it directly from your suppliers, at the tip of your fingertips, open your Grab app, launch GrabMart, choose from your favorite grocery, for example, and choose the assortment of products. And you can have it safely and securely delivered at your doorstep. And of course, it's fast and reliable. You quickly search for your favorite brands and then you can deliver it at your doorstep. And then the assortment of GrabMart, next slide. You have packaged foods, you have drinks, you have healthcare. Healthcare, for example, swab test kits are now available. So if you want to order it for your employees, it's already available via GrabMart. Personal care is also available, even household products and even gifts and others. We've seen companies that have been ordering gift baskets or even gift kits for birthday celebrants to delivered for their employees. Next slide. So again, GrabForBusiness, we are a unified business-to-business portal that helps you manage your corporate services on Grab. And there are problems that we're trying to solve. If you want to move to the next slide. So the problems that we're trying to solve with Grab for Business are number one, the unproductive routines, because employees spend an enormous amount of time submitting claims each month. There's also low employee morale based on the conversations that we have with corporate clients because the excessive admin duties have been proven to lower morale. And if you want to add benefits such as food, it actually helps boost their morale. And of course, as Grace mentioned earlier, the transparency, the cost control, even the expense claim fraud, these are things that you can address with our B2B platform because there's full transparency in disclosure so that we can avoid ambiguity with your manual claims process. And then lastly, fragmented system because many businesses use multiple channels to control different suppliers for rewards, incentives, and expenses. So like what we shared earlier with Grab Food, with Grab as your super app, Grab Food, Grab Mart, even transport, even Grab Express are already available. Okay, next slide. So again, our comprehensive suite of management, compliance, and policy controls include user management. If you want to update your employee roster, set access controls, and organize them in groups. And this is also real time. You also have policy management. If you want to assign policies and spending limits as required to ensure individual to company-wide compliance. Because we understand there are certain policies, certain limits, certain amounts that you set per employee on a regular basis. And of course, there's payment management. So for payment management, you manage payment options for employees on how they do corporate rides, on how they do corporate food, how they do mart orders, as well as package deliveries. Next slide shows you the policy settings. So these are the policies that you can implement with your B2B platform. So you have the time, you have the location, you have the service type, you can set food allowance, and you can also even add cost code control. So for food allowance on the next slide, we'll talk about how you set your allowance for corporate food and corporate mart. Now in creating that, once you already have access to the portal, you just go to the policy setting and then you choose whether you want to create a policy for Grab Food or for Grab Mart. And then there are two policy options that you can use for these services. You can do spending limit, meaning the amount, and you can also order limit, which is the number of transactions. And these limits can be done on a daily limit, weekly limit, monthly limit, up to a quarterly limit. So it really depends upon your policy on how it will apply to your employees. And then you can set the limit amount to the rules that you've chosen. And these policy settings can be added to depending on which group you've added it to. So for example, on the right side, you see an example that has been added to the G4 food group or even the leadership lab group or the mystery shopping group. So these are this is part of the policy for corporate food and mart that you can set via the portal. Yep, so that basically ends my presentation about corporate food and mart as well as Grab for Business as a B2B platform. Let me turn you over to Nels for the next session. Over to you, Nels.
Thank you, Angelo. Moving on, we will move on to the introduction of Grab Gifts with Namrata. Thanks, Nams.
Thank you, Nels. Thank you, Angelo. Hi, everyone. I'm here to talk about Grab Gifts. Everybody loves receiving a Grab gift, right? Like I know the thrill that I get when I see an email that says that, hey, you've been sent a Grab gift of X dollars. So I'm here to talk to you about how we can utilize Grab gifts or Grab vouchers as part of company initiatives. It could be customer campaigns. It could be initiatives for your employees. It could be your next gifting in the holiday season. We'll talk about all those use cases. Next slide. Okay, when you say Grab gifts, what you are gifting them is something unique. You can customize it according to the denomination you want. You can customize it according to the service that you want, and you can customize the start date. What this essentially means is that as a company, you can decide that, hey, you know what? My budget per person is XYZ. So I want to give them, say, for the upcoming Christmas season, instead of me going to a vendor, going and getting gift hampers, what I can instead do is that I can give them a GrabMart voucher of X pesos. My employees then have the flexibility of going on to the Grab app, choosing between multiple vendors and getting the things that they love. Next slide. So the best part about Grab gifts is that they are all e-vouchers. You don't need to get into the physical hassle of distributing something physical, making sure that it reaches them or not. These Grab gifts can either be in the form of voucher codes, unique voucher codes or 8-digit alphanumeric codes, or they can be in the form of unique links, both of which you can distribute digitally. Either via email or via SMS is what we see as the most popular way that our corporates use for digital distribution today. Like I said, you can decide the value. It can be as high as you want, depending on your budgets. Your validity of these are up to 6 months. Of course, you may have certain special use cases, like maybe you want to facilitate transport to and fro from your event. In that case, we can actually also create limited period Grab vouchers, say for transportation. We can lock it geographically so that they are valid only if the user is coming or going from your event on that particular day. Next slide. Let's talk about some of the use cases of Grab gifts. The first use case. Some of the most interesting use cases that we see is when companies use these to incentivize employees. Have the top performer of the quarter, have the top performer of the month. The easiest way of giving them a practical solution is a Grab gift or a Grab voucher. They can then use that to access hundreds of merchants on the Grab platform. And in that sense, you can also customize the Grab gift itself so that it shows your logo, it shows your messaging, and it adds one extra touch point for your brand to communicate with the recipient. Next slide. Driving footfall to events. Like I said, we can also lock these Grab gifts so that they can be locked to your event date, to your event location. Let's say you want to facilitate transportation for any event that you are having. You can actually give transportation vouchers to all the attendees, either for coming or for going back from the event, and these are geographically locked. Hence, you make the experience even much better. Next slide. Customization. Like I said, one of the most special things about the Grab gifts is that you can customize it. You can customize it for denomination. You can lock the Grab gift for location in the case of transportation or for food. You can lock it. Let's say you want to give something elite to your users or to your employees. Maybe you can lock it to higher end cars, to a higher end fleets. You can lock it for time. You can decide the denomination. It can be any whole number denomination that you want for corporate purchases. We also give you the added advantage of putting in your own logo, your own visuals, and your own messaging. Next slide. Now, how do users use your Grab gifts or use Grab vouchers? Let's say it's a specific food voucher for 100 pesos. And let's say you have chosen to distribute it in the form of unique voucher codes. Each unique voucher code would be an 8-digit alphanumeric unique code. So what I would do as a recipient is that I would go into my app, I would go into the food section, I would choose whatever from all the hundreds of vendors that we've got. Once we do that, all I need to do is click on offer, type in that unique voucher code that I have, and that's it. Then what happens is that my total amount of the voucher is deducted from my total bill amount, and that's how the recipient can use the vouchers. Next slide. Okay, this is something that I really want to share with you because one of the feedback that we had got over the last 1 year is that, hey, how do we improve the experience of receiving Grab vouchers? I may have my own car and I may prefer to drive. So a Grab transport voucher may not be the best solution or the best gift for me, but I may love to order food. So for me, it might be that I would choose Grab Food, while for another person, a transportation voucher may make perfect sense. As of June 1st, we've launched One Grab vouchers. These come in the form of unique links. So let's say I receive the link. When I click on the link, I actually have a choice. How do I want to redeem that voucher? Do I want it in transport? Do I want it in food? Do I want it in Mart? Or do I want it in Express? If it's a higher denomination vouchers, I can also choose what is the denomination breakdown that I want. So for example, let's say I receive a voucher of 1,000 pesos. I then choose that I want to use it for transportation. After I choose transport, I would be further asked whether I want to break this voucher down into smaller sub-denominations so that I can use it for multiple trips. Once I make the choice, that particular voucher goes and sits in my Grab voucher and Grab rewards section, and then it's there for my use at any point of time. Again, we give you the added option of putting in a special message, of putting in a special logo to make the experience better for your recipients. This is something that has seen a fabulous outreach in the market, and we're seeing a lot of uptake for these in the new, for the festival season, for the upcoming Christmas gifting, etc. So do keep this in mind when you are deciding on what to give your employees. That's it from me. Back to you, Nels.
Thank you for that, Nams. It's very insightful to know all the different use cases for Grab gifts. Thanks once again to our speakers for sharing their insights with us today. We'll now conduct the question and answer session, where I'll be answering any questions that you may have for us. So feel free to keep the questions coming in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. We have a couple of questions already. So the first one, how do we begin our journey as a GrabForBusiness client? I'm throwing this to any one of you, Angelo or Nams.
Maybe Angelo.
Yeah, so for you to kickstart your journey being a GrabForBusiness client, towards the end of this presentation, you can actually reach out to us directly. You just need to have a valid registration in the country, and we'd be happy to talk to you, to discuss further. We can even schedule a demonstration on how you can maximize the features of what we're offering.
Thank you, Angelo. Another question that we have, can we set multiple groups, admins, and users with the GrabForBusiness portal?
That's a very good question. Let me take that as well, Nels. So with the setup of the GrabForBusiness portal, you can definitely create multiple company admins, meaning they oversee all the transactions and the policies in the portal. And you can set group admins as well, wherein they can only see transactions within their group. And of course, the last set of people will be the users or the individual transactors of the company.
Thank you. One more question. How can we distribute Grab gifts to hundreds of employees?
Sure. So maybe I'll take that. The easiest way that we have seen most of our clients do that is to do a mail merge. So this is a very simple functionality which is there in Outlook, in Gmail, whatever is the email provider that you are using. And we have a certain template that we recommend, so we can also share that with you. So it's very simple. It takes less than 10 minutes to set up and very easily doable.
Thanks, Nams. I think we have a few more questions regarding gifts. One of them being, can you stack gifts with other promos?
Sure. So let me take that as well. So if you had asked me this question 4 months ago, I would have said no. Unfortunately, you cannot do that. But I'm very happy to say that I think it is going to be from next month onwards that you would be able to stack Grab gifts along with any platform promos that are already there on the platform. So that makes it that much sweeter for the recipient because more discounts.
Great. And another one that I think might be directed to you as well, Nams. Is there a minimum amount for gifts to be purchased? When we bought promo codes in the past, we had to purchase 100K worth.
Sure. So I think we've got a couple of methods through which you can purchase Grab gifts. For smaller purchases, we do recommend it go directly via our website. However, for invoicing-based purchases, yes, there is a 100K amount. However, for any attendee which is over here, I do believe we have a special tier that is there, which I think would be shared post the webinar getting over. A reduced minimum tier for invoicing-based purchases. So we'll be happy to share that across with all of our esteemed attendees today.
Thank you. And I think we have time for one more question. Are discounts for GrabForBusiness different from regular customer discounts? Angelo.
I think this question is referring to maybe promos and discounts that we release to an individual user versus a corporate client. And yes, it can vary. And it's a tactical campaign for us as well. It's not perpetual. So unfortunately, we cannot give the discounts every time. But if there's exclusive corporate solutions or GFB client discount, then yes, you will receive it.
Okay, thank you for that, guys. I think moving on now, I would like to invite Amit to say a few words as closing remarks for today's webinar before we end today's session. Thank you, Amit.
Thanks very much. And first of all, thanks everyone for taking the time to join, and thanks to the team for presenting as well. Very interesting topics and areas that we're covering. First of all, I noted that there are quite a number of questions that are in the chat. What we will do, we will collate all these questions and we will answer them, and we will email them to all the recipients today so that everybody has answers for those as well. Additionally, and now I don't know if we can post one more question in the poll. Is it possible?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. I just wanted to see from the attendees who would be interested in seeing a bit more of a detailed demo of GrabForBusiness. And then what our team can do is then reach out to you to schedule that. It will be really quite interesting to understand from individual use cases how we can potentially help you, and how the solution may be useful to your organization and to your people from a number of aspects. This is not just about cost saving. This is really about improving operational efficiency, being able to I guess lower attrition and increase employee engagement. So lots of different facets around what GrabForBusiness offers. Apart from that, I think thank you again for everyone. We really look forward to seeing you. I'll be in the Philippines next week, so if there's an opportunity for us to meet any of you in person, I'm sure Choi and his team will help to arrange that. Apart from that, have a great day, and thank you again for joining.
Thanks, Amit. And it's good to know that most of the audience here today is definitely interested to see a demo of the GrabForBusiness solution. All right, so it seems like that has brought us to the end of this webinar today. Should you like to get in touch with us to find out more, feel free to reach out to any one of our key account managers listed on the screen. They are more than happy to help and answer any questions that you may have. Thank you once again to all of you that have attended the event today, and to our speakers, of course, for sharing their insights with us. We will be sending out emails to all of you that have attended with further details and, of course, links for you to reach out and get in touch with us, and also for you to share your feedback. And on that note, we will also be gifting a $10 Grab voucher to 10 lucky attendees from today's webinar. So do look out for that email in the next couple of days. Thank you once again to everyone, and have a good day.